You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White sports supporters, let's talk about Baker Mayfield. Today is a huge day for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the organization, the franchise, a potential franchise quarterback in the organization. Baker Mayfield can make a lot of money today. I've said, can he overtake Damar Hamlin and Joe Flacco for comeback player of the year? I don't know. Right now, and we'll take a look at the odds, he's currently sitting at 3. Now, one has to wonder if Baker goes out and throws 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns, throws for 350 yards. Tampa Bay Buccaneers roar in as NFC South champions. Is there a world where, since that's the last thing in the mind of the voters, Baker can overtake and win the award? I don't know. I kind of doubt it. I still say it's close between Baker and Joe. I'm not even bringing up Damar Hamlin in this. Much like a lot of the other people on social media, why is Damar Hamlin even in this? Create some kind of humanitarian award for him or something. And even at that, I guess I still don't get it. Question mark? I mean, I don't get it. I'm trying to figure out. He did not play this year, really. I mean, he was technically speaking active in a couple of games, a couple of tackles, but you know the point, and we've talked about that at great length. So let's get to the monetary side, because Baker is, well, he can make a lot of money today, but he can make even more money after the season as either a potential re-sign for the Buccaneers. I cannot imagine that they wouldn't re-sign Baker at this point, or a different team that steps in. I think if the Buccaneers are running it back with Todd Bowles and Dave Canales, I think you have to bring Baker back. Now, you have to figure out how to keep Mike Evans or draft and or sign somebody of his equivalent to stay with Baker, right? So, Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback Baker Mayfield is playing to help his team secure a spot in the playoffs, win the NFC South on Sunday against the Carolina Panthers. But a win and good performance against his former team could mean so much more than that for him. Mayfield signed what was a reported 1-year, $4 million deal with the Bucs in March, but that contract was highly incentivized. If Mayfield hits those incentives Sunday, he can make quite a bit of money for himself, and he has a good chance with his current standing. Now, we know he's nursing some injured ribs, but he's playing. He's playing. Mayfield already has one locked in, playing 85% of the team's offensive snaps, gives him an extra $1 million. And as he has played 99.7% of them, that's in the bag. Should he beat the Carolina Panthers and win the NFC South, he'll also get another $1 million. What a bargain this has been. He'd also earn this incentive if the Buccaneers make the playoffs as a wildcard team, but to do that, they need to tie the Panthers and then get some significant help elsewhere. Oh, interesting. Additionally, Mayfield earns $300,000 each should he finish in the top 10 in the NFL in 4 different passing stats: touchdown passes, yards, passer rating, and yards per attempt. As it stands, Mayfield is 6th in the NFL in touchdown passes, 8th in yards, 9th in passer rating, and tied for 9th in yards per attempt. While some of them are a little tight, it's worth noting that quite a few quarterbacks Mayfield is competing in this regard will sit Week 18 with the playoffs clinched. That's a good point. All in all, should Mayfield hit all of these, he'll earn a nice $2.2 million in incentives heading into the postseason. And while it's unlikely once there, but far from impossible, he'll also earn an extra $250,000 for every playoff win he gets. Do we think this team can't win in a shootout? Because I think this team's got some potential to be able to score some points, depending on who they play. Should the Bucs go to the Super Bowl and win it, he'd make an extra $1 million there too. And that, of course, would bring us over to this other tidbit right here, and I think it's a significant one because it's a forecast from CBS Sports. Who is this? Let me see. Cody Benjamin, that's one of their insiders at CBS Sports. He is projecting and doing a comparison as to what Baker Mayfield is going to receive by way of free agency money, whether he re-signs with the Bucs, like it's predicted here, or somebody else. So, like the Seahawks, with a surprise from breakout Geno Smith in 2022-2023, the Bucs could be motivated to reward him while retaining long-term flexibility. Mayfield, Baker, meanwhile, figures to value continuity after years of bouncing around. Through staff changes, though staff changes could affect that. The projection on Baker, he re-signs with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on a 2-year, $54 million deal. That's $27 million a year. That is pretty similar to something that Geno Smith got. I will say this, I would certainly be way more. And in fact, let me bring these odds back up so we can glance at them while I'm talking. But I'd be way more inclined to give him that kind of money than say what. I mean, I'm still confused by how Daniel Jones got so much money. I mean, that contract is a little. There's some outages in it for the Giants, and it doesn't look as inflated when you start really digging into it because they're not locked in as long as people think. But still, it's a terrible contract. Daniel Jones has turned into a disaster. Now, I will say with Daniel Jones, if he was with the right team, I mean, they got Saquon Barkley, but let's be honest. Darren Waller's been hurt all year, and they're not exactly, running Mike Evans and Chris Godwin out there or, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins with the New York Giants. They've got some issues with weapons, too. So this is the Comeback Player of the Year award odds right here. It's still a plus 1,000 over at FanDuel. Joe Flacco's actually dropped a little bit. I don't know how this happens. DeMar Hamlin is becoming a bigger favorite now, and Joe Flacco is dropping. It's insane. It's insanity. That award will officially be a joke if DeMar Hamlin wins it. I mean, that's going to look terrible on. But look, they're looking for a mainstream media soundbite on the night of the NFL honors, and oh my God, we can trot DeMar Hamlin out there to receive an award on a television show. I mean, that's literally what they're going to give him, an award for that purpose and that purpose alone. It ticks me off to no end. Sorry, not sorry. It's clearly Flacco. It's clearly Baker. It's clearly Matt Stafford. All three have produced on the field. I don't even think that's a question at this point. I don't even understand why there's an argument. Now, as far as Baker's contract goes, I mean, I think that's reasonable. If you're the Bucs, do you not grab him for that? Because I'm going to tell you, there's going to be a market for Baker. Now, it's going to be interesting to see because, we've talked about Mason Rudolph, and he won yesterday and this and that. Boy, Baker feels perfect for the Steelers. He really does. That blue-collar, hard nose, but same kind of thing with Tampa, right? So I think the Steelers are going to glance at Baker. I think the Patriots are going to glance at Baker. I think the Raiders are going to glance at him. And I think the Buccaneers have an inside track. I mean, people forget this about Baker. How many offensive coordinators and offensive coaches has he had to play with? A lot. I mean, it's been chaotic. Keep it together for a couple of years, 3 years, and see where this takes you as an NFL quarterback. He's had a hell of a year. Again, he's had a better season statistically than Patrick Mahomes. Did anybody see that coming? I don't think so. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.